Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. We hope you enjoyed that commercial break, and give a big shout out to all of our sponsors that help drive On Air with Pierre to success. We just talked with Mayor Pat Hallisey, and now it is my pleasure to welcome celebrity chef Mary Bass.
Hey!
Oh my gosh, you have fans in the studio.
I do. It's fun. I like what I get to do.
You also have fans all over town, and so when you're now branded as the celebrity chef because you did some TV shows,
right?
But then after that, you came back and got really involved in the community. You've been involved in the community
right.
a long time, and so I want to start off by talking a little bit about your story. How did you, where did you grow up, and give me sort of the Cliff Notes version of what made you say you were going to be a chef.
So I have been in Galveston County for 35 years, which is my entire life.
Okay.
And I started, my grandmother used to invite the first-time visitors from church over to her house every Sunday.
Okay.
And so I was the only grandkid that washed dishes, so I got to leave church early, which I thought was super fun, and go help her cook. And on a slow Sunday with just our immediate family, we'd have about 40 family members and close friends come over. But on our really busy Sundays when all these guests would come, we could have 80 to 100 people at our house. And so she would cook a different meal every single Sunday and have these people over. And for a decade, we lived upstairs and she lived downstairs at this house, and they would come over and we would feed them. And it was just this great time of fellowship. And so her name was Mary as well, and she used to say, love must be shown, love must be demonstrated, and the way we do that is through food. And so that kind of was the start to my career, and always knew that that's what I wanted to go into. So I went to Galveston College and got my associate's degree, and then started straight into the business after that. I started making cake balls. That's how I kind of gained footing.
I think that's how we met.
That's how we
right?
met, through Chick-fil-A and through cake balls. And then stopped making cake balls, which some people are still really upset over it. I'm sorry.
Those things were good.
They're the best. They
Yes.
really were the best cake balls. And so, as I've grown in the community and been afforded a lot of really amazing opportunities, I've gained popularity as I've gone.
So, real quick, back to the beginning of the story. A house that welcomes 40 to 80 people.
Yeah.
What kind of house do you have to?
It was
It
was a huge house. Like I said, she had a whole downstairs part, and we had
Okay.
upstairs, and then we'd spill out into the yard.
And you had to wash the dishes for that?
Yeah. It was.
Oh my
I kind of used it as an excuse. I'm sure I did not wash all the dishes, but
So there's something to be said about. I was watching a show the other day about. It was parenting.
Right.
But how there's kids that grew up doing certain activities
Yep.
that were chores, right?
Right.
But they did not see them as chores.
No.
They saw, like, I'm so looking forward to being able to do XYZ.
Right.
And then when you finally wake up to the reality, they're like, what? They were making you do all the dishes? And you're like, no, but
it was fun.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like, it was one of those things, and it's something that's always made me more successful is if you volunteer for the hard stuff,
Yeah.
and the jobs that nobody wants to do, you grow and you learn and you meet people that you wouldn't have had the opportunity to meet if you didn't volunteer for that. So especially when I was in culinary school and in high school, people, our teachers would ask for volunteers for things, and I was always the first to volunteer, and my fellow classmates were like, oh, you're just trying to get it, teacher's pet, da-da-da. But I would get to meet chefs and business leaders, and here I am, and it would take hours of my time and a lot of labor, but I built those connections.
Sure.
And those connections have continued throughout my entire career. I've been able to have relationships with those people because I put forth the effort to do that work early on.
How did the you were on an episode of Cutthroat Kitchen?
Correct.
And tell me how that happened.
So it was kind of cool. It was twofold. There was another chef in the community who had done an episode, and also through my social media, through Instagram, the casting agents found me on my Instagram page and said, hey, you should apply. And then she kind of gave me some backing saying,
Gotcha.
hey, you could, this would be a viable person. And so it took about 6 months through the casting process, and then it took another 8 months for the episode to air after we filmed.
Oh my gosh!
And
so actually taped. Last week we had Christina Wells on
Right.
the show, who was on America's Got Talent,
Yeah.
and we talked about how she went through basically 5-6 months of you couldn't say anything.
You can't say anything. You're under this, non-disclosure agreement, and you just have to
Wow.
like sit on it and be,
Okay.
and then all of a sudden it's like, God, look what I got to do,
So
and
the episode that airs, and then you can talk about.
you can say pretty much whatever you want after that. It's
Right.
just keeping those how they come out, how the results.
the outcome, right?
Yeah, they want the outcome to stay.
Now,
hidden, so.
is it as fun as it looks, or is it a lot of like work and it takes a long time? How does that
So for
behind the
me,
scenes?
I chose to go into it as this is an amazing opportunity. Win, lose, or draw. I got to have this
Absolutely.
opportunity that not many chefs are
Get to be
afforded.
on a platform.
Yeah, this
right?
was the largest platform for a chef online or on media's Food Network, and
Absolutely.
so I just chose to have a good time. So the entire experience, like I got burnt in the middle of the second round, and I'm still just smiling and having a great time. Nobody knew what had happened on the episode, and so there were things that I chose to do myself to make it fun, and had a great time. So that was the biggest thing for me, is just utilizing that opportunity and taking the best from it. But I had a great time. Like, I didn't find it stressful, because the
Sure.
Cutthroat Kitchen is more about being able to think on your feet and less about being able to cook.
Right.
You have to be a chef to get on the show, but it's about how quickly can you think on your feet.
And for our viewers that have never seen Cutthroat Kitchen, and correct me if I say any of this stuff wrong, but there are different rounds
Right.
that you go through, and you get a certain amount of money that
Right.
you can use to purchase
There's
sabotages
sabotages.
that you can offload on somebody else.
Right.
So that
Or
you don't have.
they either make your life easier or make your opponent's life more difficult. And you start with 4 chefs and you end up with 2 at the end. There's 3 rounds. And so
And
I made it all the way to the last
The
round.
very first round, you were in an enchilada.
I had to dress as an enchilada. Yeah, if you Google Chef Mary Bass Food Network, you will see this ridiculous enchilada outfit. And actually, it was kind of cool. Last week, I went and did a private dinner at a beach house for a bachelorette party.
Okay.
And the group of girls had Googled me before I got there, and they're like, okay, you have to tell us all about it, like behind the scenes. And by the time the dinner was done, we sat and watched the episode together as a group, and
Okay.
I kind of got to go through it behind the scenes with them.
Nice.
It was so cool. It was surreal just to sit there,
Absolutely.
and have that. It was amazing, just being able to, share that with him. And it was only the second time I had seen the episode, so.
Wow. Okay, so we've got, if you're just now tuning in, we're talking with Chef Mary Bass. She is a Houston celebrity chef, but also she's a community advocate. And so I want to spend a little bit of time giving you an opportunity to talk about that you are a community advocate. I mean, in every sense of the word. You are always looking to help bridge and connect people and resources.
Right.
That has to be stressful sometimes.
It is. It's it requires a lot of creative thinking and utilizing my resources to the best ability to help others. And so, when we're in peace mode, which is, most of the time we're in, non-crisis mode.
Sure.
We just want to do random acts of kindness that build the community, that
Okay.
bring community people together. But then when we go in crisis mode, we helped during Hurricane Harvey and the shooting in Santa Fe, and most recently the government shutdown, utilizing all of our community and local resources to help those people who are in need at that moment. And really, it's just showing them that, this might be what you consider one of the most difficult times in your life, but there's still good people out there who want to help and who want to alleviate some of your burden. And so, we have just given people that opportunity to do that.
And correct me if I'm wrong, but there is also a sense sometimes, which I don't know that I necessarily agree with, but there are folks that believe the big organizations,
Yeah.
the big nonprofits
Right.
that are worldwide organizations,
Right.
there's a sense of distrust.
Yeah.
That sometimes isn't valid, but sometimes it is. And so because of that distrust, you've been able to carve out a very trust based relationship with
Correct.
people that are willing to either devote their time, their energy, their money
Right.
to say, I can give it to Chef's Tables Charities
Yep.
because it's local, it's in my backyard, I can see it, I can touch it, I can feel it.
Yep.
and versus a global organization
Right.
that sense of trust isn't there.
Right.
And how does that make you feel?
That's amazing. I've, like I said, 35 years in this community. I really have built a great network of people who, I'm there. I'm out on social media. I go to the events. People see, what I'm doing, and they know that what I'm doing, who I am, and what I'm doing is true.
Sure.
And so, like you said, there's such a disconnect with the large, scale nonprofits where you give your $10.
Sure.
And you don't know what it goes to. Most of them have 40% overhead and have salaries for their board.
Right.
We're not like that. The most overhead that we carry is a storage units, and that's it. We're all volunteer based. The president and I'm the president. I'm a volunteer. All of us are volunteer based, and so president, vice president, all of us, we give our time freely to do these things that we believe so much in. And so we had a gentleman during the shutdown in Arkansas that picked up our news article in the Associated Press and sent me $10. And this is my favorite story about this. And he sent it with an apology. I'm so sorry that I cannot do more. And so I messaged him on Facebook. I was like, thank you so much for the $10. Like, something just spoke to me about that particular donation. And so I messaged him and said, thank you so much for the $10. And he's like, I'm sorry, I can't do more. And I said, $10, do you know what I can do with $10? I was like, I'm going to go buy tuna. Mm-hmm. And he's like, I bet you can get 7 cans of tuna. And I was like, sir, you doubt me. Like, I bet I can get at least 9 cans of tuna. And so I went to a local grocery store and I got 13 cans of tuna.
Wow.
And so I took this selfie with the tuna.
Okay.
And to show that, you gave me $10, I used $9.90 to buy 13 cans of tuna. I had 10 cents left over. It went towards something else,
right.
That your money actually goes towards what you want it to go towards.
Sure.
And so having that connection with people who are donating, or, and a lot of times the things we collect are goods over monetary donations. And so it's we had a mom who lost all her cookbooks in Harvey, and so we collected cookbooks from a bunch of moms who they were just extra books, and then we went back to the mom and said, hey, here's all these books that were donated, you can pick whatever you want.
Wow.
And come to find out, we had 3 other moms in the same boat.
Right.
And so then the books that she didn't want, we were able to go to the next mom and say, hey, look at these books, are there any? And so it's being able to give people an opportunity to help on a small scale and make an impact and feel like they're able to do something, but the collective of so many people helping, makes a difference. It's making a ripple in the
bridging
community.
Connections, bridging resources.
Yep.
The work as a community advocate. It's amazing that you do this work, and I want to thank you for joining us today. Before we go to our next commercial break, tell us a little bit about Chef Mary Bass. What does Chef Mary Bass do during the day? Where does she work? What kind of projects are coming down the pipeline with Chef Mary Bass?
So right now, we are in the process of opening a restaurant in Galveston. It's called Katie's Seafood House.
Okay.
And that is forthcoming. Follow us on social media. We'll post as soon as we're available. No, we don't have an open date yet.
Okay.
We're working on it. It's coming.
Katie's Seafood House.
Katie's Seafood House will be down in Galveston and Harborside. But the nonprofit is really, we've got several projects we're working on. We're going to give out Easter baskets this year to kids. So coming March 1st, you can apply if you are a low-income family and, we want to take that burden off you and make sure the kids have an awesome Easter. You can apply for an Easter basket. And also, we've started doing kindness rallies. We did our first one in one of the Dickinson middle schools, and we did a whole kindness rally and teaching kids how to be the good and, starting to get them to do positive things inside of the school. And so that particular school, they've been baking brownies for their custodian and writing nice notes to their teachers and holding the door open for their friends. And so if you're a school who wants to have a kindness rally, you can go to our website, chefstablecharities.org, and apply, and we will set up a rally in your school.
Well, and what I'd like to do, Mary, is at a separate time have either you or a representative from Chef's Table Charities come back just to talk about all the projects that you guys have going on.
We'd love that.
To close out, Mary, tell us 3 hot spots, 3 great places that you love going to eat that we need to go to.
Okay.
Yeah. 3 spots that you can think of.
Local or island?
Local.
Okay.
Well, I mean, island could be. We can pick a Galveston one.
All right. Well, you've got to go to Penny's.
Okay.
It's down on the island. They have the best tamales and
Tamales.
and they have barbecue. It's
Okay.
kind of like it's a fusion down there.
Okay.
Gypsy Joint. These are all going to be island places.
That's
sorry.
fine.
Gypsy Joint.
Okay.
Oh, they have 2 locations. They have Gypsy Joint and they have Gypsy Jive, which is on the Strand, and they're
Okay.
both amazing. And then Hey Mikey's Ice Cream. There's
Okay.
one in Galveston and there's one in Texas City, and all 3 of those are my peeps. They're
All
a
right.
phenomenal food. You got to go
Awesome.
check them out.
Okay, so we got Penny's, we got Gypsy Joint or
Yep.
Gypsy Drive,
Yep.
and then we have Hey Mikey's
Mikey's.
Ice Cream. So you heard it right there. 3
You gotta
hot
go.
spots. If you have not checked them out, go and check them out. Once again, Chef Mary Bass, thank you so much
You're
for
welcome.
joining us today. We're going to go to a short commercial break, and when we come back, we're talking with Laura Varley, who is at the forefront of her organization, the Clear Creek Council of PTAs, and they're going to be talking to us about their upcoming Founders Day celebration. We'll be right back after these short messages.